Hi Flosstube, it's Karen, recovering monogamous stitcher. I am back with another video to share with you my cross stitch and quilting journey. I'm so happy to have you here. Today is Friday, February 28, 2025. This is Flosstube number 65. Thanks so much, especially to those of you who've been with me on this, my whole journey. I appreciate it, but I also appreciate my new subscribers. Thank you so much. I'm happy to have you here. And when you see something that you like and enjoy, I really appreciate it if you like the video and if you subscribe. It really helps let others with our same interests to find my channel, and I really appreciate that. So thank you so much. And as always, I appreciate the comments. I love having the back and forth and comments, and it's great fun. So let's get going. What have I done in the last 2 weeks? Well, I have stitched every single day, so it was a good 2 weeks. I split my time between my sewing room with my machines, and then for approximately half of my available time. And then the other half, I sit in my stitchy chair and stitch away, either listening to my Kindle or watching Netflix or something. So it's been a good 2 weeks. Thanks for coming and checking in with me. Lots to show today, lots to share. I've had, I have an FO, not an FFO, and I did show this to you last time. I finished stitching, oops, there's a little fuzz. I finished stitching Always Forward, and this I stitched in memory of Jean Lee, the owner of the Attic Needle Workshop in Mesa, Arizona, and we lost Jean the end of January. And this was her motto, I guess, always forward, never backward. And she was not one to rip out stitches, so I appreciate that. But I do tend, boy, if I know where there's a mistake, I do get it back out. But I love this. Thanks so much for that idea, Jean. And I think I'm going to use this fabric for the backing. I had fabrics that were, I have a ton of reds. I mean, that box, I'll bet it weighs over 50 pounds of my reds. And this one just spoke to me with this. So I think that's how I'll finish it. And it will be a pillow. I'm not sure if I have a trim that will go with it, but we'll work with that. Okay, so that's Always Forward. That was an FO. I do have an FFO, but I'll be sharing that later when we get to the snow day stitching. I have a whole section I'm going to talk about my snow day stitching. Okay, my whips. I worked on Margaret Hutton, and my goal for this month, as always, I have goals for each month, and these are my goals. And the only one that's not yet checked off is I wanted to do 5 days on Margaret Hutton. I did not get 5 days. If I get to her today, that will be day number 5. But Margaret Hutton is a pattern from Hands Across the Sea Designs, and this is the pattern that Nicola brought to Cincinnati last spring to Queen City Sampler Guild and taught specialty stitches. And I was thrilled to be there and thrilled to get this, and I've loved stitching on it. It is a beautiful, beautiful piece. I think the last time I saw you, I had just a little bit of more Algerian eyelets, which, by the way, I think they are so worth the time they take. They're so beautiful when they're finished. I love Algerian eyelets. And I had previously had the entire border done, and so now I've started filling in the motifs here. I started working down. I thought I better work up. So I came down here and did these chunks and started doing this. I completed this tree, and I've just started the outline of one of the peacocks, and that gets mirrored over here also. These baskets are different from each other, but they mirror each other in that they're a basket. This gets mirrored over here. And then in the center, there's, it's not a medallion, I don't suppose, but this with birds and then the laurel around it. And then there are 1/1 crowns and initials that get stitched in. So I have quite a way to go yet, actually, on this. So this pretty much, I think I finished that. But anyway, pretty much the inside of this part is 4 days of stitching. It has a lot of stitches in it. and I've loved it. And I checked, by the way, and the video for Queen Stitch is still available. So when I get there, I'll be able to refer to that video. And thank you, Nicola, for bringing that to us. It's a beautiful piece. I also did a new start for my birthday. I started Mrs. Campbell, and I have a flag in it because that's where I left off and where I want to go back to. So Mrs. Campbell, Oban, was the year 1805. It is a beautiful, beautiful sampler. That's also from Hands Across the Sea. So I started this on my birthday, and I started off by getting the entire border around, and then I started the dividing lines between here because there are bands of different things. Now there are more of those to go, but by the time I got that much of those lines done, I thought, I want to do some colors. So I jumped in there and got started with those colors. Aren't they pretty? It's like they glow in the center. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. And she has a ton of threads. Let me put this down so I don't drop it. A ton of threads. All of these, and I'm using DMC. You know me, I'm a DMC girl. Plus these. There were so many I couldn't get them all on the floss drops. Look at the floss drops. That's from Barry at Stitch Folk, the Mr. Bean, and some I got at Sampler Symposium. Oh, Jean hug. Look, she put Jean's face in there. I love those. I love those. So these are the colors for Mrs. Campbell. Ton of colors. They're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, and I was going to show you on Margaret Hutton. I had previously said that I was afraid I would run out of the red and green, the green that's so predominant and that bright red. Here's my green right now. And I did anticipate that I might run out. Where's that number? So if you're doing this also, you might want to know. I'm stitching this on 40 count 1/2, and I'm not finished, and this number 647 is almost gone, and there's a lot left to go. So I had purchased a backup spool of this number, 647, and of the red, and I don't remember the number off the top of my head. I don't remember the number. So anyway, heads up to you, if you're working on that, you may want to go ahead and get a second spool of the 103, if that's what you're using. Okay, those are my whips. Next, we'll talk about snow day stitching. Okay, this is the first year I have done snow day stitching, and everyone can make their own rules, but my rule was if I saw snow coming down on that day, it was a snow day, and I needed to stitch on a snow day stitch. The first one you'll remember that I did was Jolly Happy Soul, stitched on an opalescent fabric using all the called for colors, and this is a Brenda Gervais pattern. As I recall, it came out in 2015. I did not pull the pattern out to show today. So this is snow day number 1, and it's stitched but not fully finished. Okay, then the second one I chose to do was Berries in Bloom from Hands On Design. It's a beautiful, beautiful little stitch. I stitched this on 36 count through the stones from BeStitchMe, and I used all DMCs on it. And this is from Hands On Design, if I did not say that. So again, finished, not fully finished. That was number 2. Number 3, Winter Cardinal Etching from Heart in Hand. And I stitched this on 32 count Murano, which is an even weave. And I used DMC 3787 and 221. The 3787 is the green and 221 is the red. So it's done. but not fully finished. Oops, hanging up here. The next one I stitched was Little Loves. I had hoped to get it done in time for Valentine's Day, didn't quite make it, but Little Loves from Fat Quarter Shop. This is a free PDF download from Fat Quarter Shop. It's still available, I checked today. So if you're interested in this sweet little stitch, it's a free download. And this one I do have fully finished. And I have it fully finished because I have had 2 of these frames for several years. I got them on sale at Home Goods or someplace like that. The opening on my 2 frames is 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch. Now the piece that Kimberly did is put in a 4.5 by 4.5 opening frame. She stitched on 14 count Aida, and that's a perfect fit for that 4.5 inch opening. But I already had this, and it was 3.5 inch. So I tried to find an 18 count white Aida, couldn't find it, but I did get 16 count. So I went to 16 count, and actually it does work. And I even had room to slip my initial and the year in there at the bottom. And I love that. I think that's really, really a cute finish. So this one is fully finished. Now I said I had 2 frames, and I do. Where'd I put it? Hang on. Sorry. And I've played with this and played with this, and oops, it's a good fit. It fits in here just fine, except I don't know that I want the weight. You know, I could mess with it and put decorator's wax, or I could paint it up with paint. I'm not sure. I just don't know if I want it to be in the white frame. And if I don't do it in the white frame, I might do it as a little stand-up. That's what I did with the, the etchings. Cecilia Turner had a series of 4, and one was a bunny, and I did that one. That goes out with my Easter decor every year, and I finished that as a little flat fold. It was easy to do, and it's easy to store, and I may do that with the Cardinal too. I'm hem-hoeing. Can you tell I'm hem-hoeing? So that was Little Loves. Okay, so Jolly Happy Soul, I did 5 days of stitching on that. Berries in Bloom, 3 days. Winter Cardinal Etching, 4 days. That should not have taken that long. I don't know why that took so long. Little Loves, 2 days. And then, number 5 I started is Gathering Snowflakes from Luminous Fiber Arts. I have this, I've done 2 others of these in this series, and I have, I believe, 2 more in my bag with the Belle Soie. So I need to get going on them. But this was a good excuse to pull this one out and get a good start on it. And as I said, I'm using Classic Colorworks Belle Soie Mer Bleu. And I'm stitching it on 32 count, not another sampler. Where's my stitching? Oh, here it is down there. So that was 1 day of stitching, but it's a little deceiving because I also had a Zoom that same night, and I stitched on this during the Zoom. So it was really more than what a normal stitching day would have been. So that's my start on that one. So that was 5 snow day stitches that came up this year. I did not anticipate that many. I think that's why I kept choosing such small projects. So I thought, oh, well, this will be the last one. This will be the last one. I hope that's the last one. And I'm contemplating whether I will do this again, because it was, every time it was a snow day, I had something else I wanted to stitch. You know, I had my focus piece, or I wanted to put time on Margaret Hutton, or it just kind of, I thought, messed up my schedule. So I'll think about it. I might do it again. I don't know. But anyway, that has made me anxious to do something new for spring, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's my snow day stitching. And next I'll talk about haul. Don't run for the hills. It's just very minor, very simple. Okay, I've subscribed to Fat Quarter Shop Sew sampler box. It's a monthly subscription, and this is the first one I've received, and I'm very pleased with what came in it. I have fabric that goes with, where's my pattern? Goes with this pattern. And I have ordered the finishing kit, so I will finish this into a quilt. That's a sweet little quilt, isn't it? So I think I had to add the background and inner border and the cornerstones and outer border and the binding. And I still need to get backing. I don't think that's in the finishing kit. The backing is never in a finishing kit, so there's that. And had I been in this club earlier, or this subscription earlier, this would be block number 11 in a series of basket blocks from Fat Quarter Shop, but this is the only one I have for that. They sent a friction pen, which I love friction pens. So, whoops, where's the clicker? Oh, you have to take the top off. Okay, that's different than my other ones. So I have a black friction pen, can always use that. And another cool thing in here is a new rotary cutter, and it has the ergonomic, you know, as soon as you release that handle, that blade is retracted back so you don't forget and leave it laying out. I'm always pushing my thumb button to get my blade retracted. I do sometimes forget, so good thing I don't have little kids around, but I'm pretty good at remembering. But I'm looking forward to trying this. I haven't opened it yet because I was waiting to show you. And apparently this color is exclusive to Fat Quarter Shop. So if that's a color that you like, I think it's a coral. It doesn't look red. Someplace I thought I read that it's coral. Anyway, very nice. And when you add up the value of everything that came in this box, it's more than what I paid for the box. So yeah, okay, so the fabric would be $22.48, and the friction ball pen would have been $2.98, so $3. The rotary cutter, $32.98, and the quilt pattern, $9.98. So it was a great value. And let's see, oh, and the basket pattern would have been $4.98. But I only have that one. So that's my introduction to the Sew Sampler monthly box. I'm very pleased with it. Let me get this stuff back in here. Okay, now I can use the stuff. Okay, so that's the Sew Sampler box. I'm going to show you the my plans, and then we'll talk about the quilts. Okay, plans. Let's see, I showed you my February page. Sorry. Okay, here is March. And I have my goals for March all set to go because tomorrow starts March. I will do 7 days on my focus piece, and those of you who follow me know I always do 7 days on my focus piece, which is always my oldest whip, and it remains my focus piece until it is done. I'm anticipating that in March I will finish my current focus piece, which is Smith Sampler, and then there'll be a different focus piece. I plan to do 3 days on my red sampler. I always have a red sampler on the go, and right now it is a stitch in time. That's a hands across the sea, yes, hands across the sea pattern. And I'm going to do, I plan to do 5 days on Florence Mary Dickinson. That's another sampler I have on the go, and I want to put some time in onto her. And I have my monthly assignment for the Martha Miller Stitch Along with Queen City Sampler Guild. And I have a question mark, spring start. Like I said, I've just had a hankering for a spring start, and I think it was because the snow stitch kept interrupting everything I was doing, and I was aware of how many days the snow stitch was taking up. And I'm just really ready to move on and do something for spring. So I have some potential spring stitches. And, oh, let me show you the layout in March. also see on March, see those days with the pink washi tape on them? We have a trip planned, and those days I'm going to be on a trip, and I don't want to take a sampler that's a 40 or 46 count and something that would be difficult to follow pattern if I don't have good lighting and all that. So I'm looking for something that I can take, something more portable, easier to see, etc., etc. So I've gathered some of the spring patterns that I already have. I'm not buying anything new. I have a bunch. So hang on. Well, next will be my potential spring starts. Okay, I have quite a few. Some I pulled out not to show because they're freebies that didn't have a picture, and I can't show you the chart. So I hope I have all of those out of here. Here's a sweet little tiny one. It's from Tiny Modernist. Happy Easter. That would be a potential. It would probably get done relatively quickly, and that would be satisfying. Another Tiny Modernist I have is, oops, Live in Full Bloom. Another nice one. I do have Black Aida, but Black Aida isn't easy, particularly to see, to stitch on. What fabric does she say she did this on? It does not say. It gives the stitch count, though. I could figure out how big it's going to be. So I'm thinking not that, because I don't think I want to stitch on. Oh, here's one that I should have taken out because I can't show you because of the chart, sorry. We'll skip that one. Okay, from Lindy Stitches. I love this little guy. Peter's Day Out. See how she's done different colored color versions? I think of some of those fabrics I've gotten that have color on them, and I think, what am I going to stitch on? This would be perfect. Change out the colors, change this little guy's clothes colors, and that would be fun. What does that say? Fabric. She did that on 28 count, so it could be done on 14 count Aida also. Okay. Here's another Lindy Stitches. Let me show you this without the pattern. For You, Dear Human, and she's done that in different color versions. Another sweet spring start with bird and flowers. I have some more Lindy Stitches too. She had a series of these patterns that were weather sayings, and I don't think I have a couple of them, and so I've missed at least one, maybe two. So here's a spring one. 3 snows on a robin's tail, then spring. That's a sweet one, and that is stitched on 32 count. That wouldn't be bad to see. And then another one I have in that series is about cutting the St. John's wort. Cut it early or something, and then you don't get more. Cut your thistles. Again, that would be a 32 count. That would be reasonable to take on the trip. Not necessarily on the plane, but on the trip. This was free from Welst Iris Naps. Look at the bunnies and carrots. I've seen these finished in all kinds of different ways, different colors, just so cute, so cute. And what size does she say, if she says? She stitched that on 36 count Zweigart, but you could use it on any count you wanted, certainly, because it's just a small little pillow finish. So cute. Another potential. This is a Teresa Kogut that I got out of the Spring 2017 Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. That's sweet. Always Teresa Kogut is sweet. That could be done, it wouldn't have to be done on black. That would be darling on a neutral background also. Bird, basket, flowers, speaks spring to me. And I have some hands-on designs. Life Needs More Chocolate Bunnies. Oh, yes. Yes, it does. That's so cute. And that one, I think, also is 32 count. And I think your background color could be flexible. It wouldn't have to be. She calls for Aspen Weeks Dye Works. I don't know where I would find that. Another one that speaks spring to me is a bunny. Bunny. bumblebee theme from Hands On Design. And that is a 32 count slate by Stephanie, but any gray or anything that you have a matching gingham trim down there, wouldn't that be darling? Again, that would be an easy one to take. This was a free from Kathy at Hands On Design. Floration with the pretty blue flowers. That reminds me of bluebells. Now, I'm sure I'm totally wrong. I have no idea, but that's just what it reminds me of. And this was from Fox and Rabbit. I'm thinking it was free. I think it was free. Promise of Spring is the name of it, and it's beautiful. The birds, flowers, basket, again. That's Fox and Rabbit. And the blue flower. This is gorgeous. Bees in the Greenhouse. I know how to do this finish now because I did at Jingle Ball, I did the hexahedron festive forest and finished it successfully, and I could finish this. But it's stitched on a 40 count. And so I don't think I'll take it, but I'm really hankering to start this. I really am. I love it. It's on the back, you can see the pictures. Every side of it has different flower featured. Oh, pretty. Okay, this is not a cross stitch, but it's from Fig Tree. Couple things. This was a PDF download of making pears, and I have lots of Fig Tree fabric scraps left. I could do pears. So I have this PDF for pears, and they look nice and rounded. And some of the cross stitch ones I see, when they're finished, they look very square-ish. So anyway, I want to play with that and see how that finishes. Now here is one. This was not a PDF download, and it's called Radishes, but I've seen it finished in orange to be carrots. So how fun for spring, a spring display. Pears and carrots and your bunny rabbit finishes. So much fun. Speaking of bunny rabbits, oh, Brenda Gervais, The Rabbit and the Rose. I have not started this yet. I've wanted to since I got it. Of course I got it because I wanted it, and I have the Whisper thread ready to do the little tail. Gorgeous, just gorgeous. Now let's see what she, this is on a 40 count. Of course it's a pillow. You could finish it on, I mean, you could stitch it on a different count. It would change the size of the pillow. I don't know, that looks pretty complicated to try to handle on a trip. I want to keep things simple. Okay, I have Spring Moon from Plum Street, Spring Moon, and I have the flosses, Classic Colorworks and DMC, and my fabric. What did I put up fabric in here? What did I have? What does she call for? The fabric they used was Baked Clay from Fox and Rabbit, 36 count. What do I have? I have 38 count Fuller's Teasel. I don't know. Does that look like a good color for that? Might be. I think the color is good. But again, 38 count, a little more challenging. I gotta love it. I haven't done any of these moon ones yet, and this is the one I got first. It maybe even is the only one I've purchased so far. I love them. I love them. Okay, and then this sweet little kit. Oops, Velvet Carrot Needle Book. Stacy Nash. Is Stacy Nash, right? Yeah, Stacy Nash. And I have it as a kit. All kitted up, ready to go. I did the parsnip last year. It was fun to do. I completed that. I could certainly complete this. But again, on the trip, not so much. It's going to require, you know, sewing machine and all kinds of things. So not yet, but this is upcoming spring stitch. Okay, I have another, sorry for the, oops, I had it unzipped and then I zipped it, sorry. I thought I had anticipated all that. Hands On Design, carrot patch. Is that Carrots and Cottontails Farm? Now stitching on black, probably not on the trip, but gosh, I love that. Carrots and Cottontail. I love the bunny theme. So, and that's on black, so that wouldn't, wouldn't take that on the trip, but I would love to stitch it. Okay, now this is one I'd love to take on the trip too. Spring Green Pears. I got it from Country Sampler, kitted up, it's ready to go. And it's stitched on 36 count fabric. So it's not too bad, and it's just one color thread, so that's an advantage when you're stitching one color thread. Definite possibility, definite possibility. So this is high on the probable list. Okay, the next one, two actually, from Brenda Gervais. Samplings, this is number 2, and samplings number 1. And they come with the alphabet eggs, have pre-printed fabric included. And do I have anything? No, I have the fabric, that fabric. And I think I chose, what does this say? 40 count flax Newcastle, because this was done on 40 count. Now I think that color goes well, but when I look at the picture, the stitched one looks lighter than the others. So I might still mess with that. But boy, this is really appealing to do. They're small, but a 40 count, I don't know, that might be a problem, but they're small. It's not a whole sampler. And I have all the threads in here too. So that's that one. Okay, these two, I know I got these during the pandemic, and it took quite a bit of searching and searching to get all the parts and pieces. Lizzie Kate, these stand-ups. Henry O'Hare and Clara O'Hare. Oh my word. How darling are they? I think I need stand-ups. I really do. And they're stitched on 30 count. Now that's really appealing for on a trip. I also have the finishing doodads for each one. That's Clara, there's Henry, tulle, pocket watch, boutonniere, all that stuff. So I have all that stuff. And I found on 123 Stitch at some time, I know it was still during pandemic, but I found them, the called for 30 count fabrics, the Morris blue for Henry and the something blush linen fabric for Clara. So I have the fabrics, it's 30 count, that's really appealing, and I have the DMC flosses, and I think that's exactly what it calls for, isn't it? Or anchor, or weeks. I have the DMC. I have the DMC. So this is a real possibility. They wouldn't be big to carry. I would not take the finishing items along with me on the trip. Just leave them home safely, put away. But 30 count, that would be great to see. This is probably number 1 possibility. And then Spring Green Pears or samplings 1 and 2. Although 40 count gives me pause. So I'm hoping to get going on some fresh, springy, fun stitching projects. Okay, that's the parade of my already purchased, ready to go spring stitching projects. And I'll let you know next time what I've decided to take on the trip, and maybe I will even have started stitching them. Okay, let's see. We're going to next look at the quilts. Okay, we're back. I'm showing this one. I know I've shown this before. This is called Wanna Build a Snowman, and I could not put my hand on the pattern right now, so I can't remember. I bought it. It's a much smaller size pattern, and I had it blown up at Office Depot, and then, you know, I think by 20%, 25% or something, and made it big, because this hangs to cover, as I've told you before, our fuse box on the wall in the family room. And I had taken down I thought all of the snowmen and snow women all over, all from the tree for all seasons, and then I had another tree that had all little white snowflakes on it, and I had all that taken down, put away. And then several days later, I just happened to notice, oh look, there's just this big snowman still up. So in taking that one down and putting the next one up, I thought I'd just stick them both up on the curtain rod here and show both of them. So I'll give them a little close look at the detail quilting. This was fun because it was all just free motion quilting. I had fun playing with my thread colors because I have colors that, I have a lot of colors like that. And then little fringes down there, snowflakes. And then line quilting, like for whirling wind, and echo quilting, and piano keys at the border, you know me. So that's Want to Build a Snowman. He's going into the quilt closet now, and he'll be there until next January. Oops, okay, now what are we showing here? Okay, this one is called Stars. I believe that's what I have on my label on the back. It's just called Stars. Hang on, I can grab the pattern and see what it says. It's right here. Okay, this was a kit featuring Michael Miller fabrics. Although I believe I chose my own background color because the cover shows white and I have gray. I think it's probably Kona Ash from Robert Kaufman. Now I've put this down and not touch the buttons. Okay, so my idea on the free motion quilting of this was that the stars were over top of everything. So where the stars washed down the side of the quilt, they covered whatever the border backgrounds were. So, but I finished this as having 3 borders. Whoops. This was a border with the triangles and the L's and E's. And then this was a border with continuous curve, and it goes around the corner. And then this was a border with the basket weave. And again, the stars lay over it. It turns the corner and continues, and then stars cover it again. So that's what I did, and then it goes around the corner and continues up. So that was my idea on the free motion quilting. And it was a lot of fun, frankly, practicing all the special things. And you'll notice, you've seen these things repeated on my quilts also, you know, with the big, when they're lined up like this, they're called string of pearls, but like pebbling and continuous curve and L's and E's. When did I do this? I did this in 2015. The fabrics, if I did not say, were Michael Miller fabrics, and they came with the pattern, but I do not believe the background fabric came. And then I finished it with a scrappy binding of leftover fabric pieces. And then I had a star fabric that went on the back. I wasn't supposed to flip that over, show you that yet. So that's 2 quilts. So this quilt is now going to go up and cover the fuse box while Snowman goes away till next winter. And so in March, again, don't touch the darn button here. Okay, in March, I need to really get going on this quilt project that I'm doing for Fat Quarter Shop. Put the pedal to the metal and get that done. I want that done before I go on my trip. I have other sewing I want to do. I need to make some bags for myself. There are a couple gifts I want to do. I want those out the door before I go on my trip, so I really need to get going on that sewing. So I'll still be dividing my time between the sewing room and my stitchy chair, and I hope to be doing some spring stitching also. So have a happy 2 weeks, Flosstube. I'll be back on March 14, and I'll see you then. Have 2 weeks of happy stitching. Bye-bye.